problem we've got is everything is based on property tax, right? The whole tax base for the state is mostly, I mean, there's some other small taxes, but there's no state income tax and there's no sales tax, right? So everything has to be funded right now out of the property tax. And it's an inequitable system because if you are a property rich town, you do really well, you've got plenty of money to go around, and you can get all kinds of really good things done, and your education system flies. It's just amazing. But if you're property poor, then you are struggling in a big way. So what we've got are winners and losers in the state. We've got huge inequity. So the system doesn't work. That's the challenge. And considering that 70% of the bill is education, then it makes the most sense to deal with the education issue first, sure. Right? So which is what a number of us are working on. And the real challenge here is that we have what I would call a lack of leadership in the people we've elected. So we've got a governor who doesn't believe that, education funding is a priority. So that's number one. Right, so he's going to veto the budget that has 3 really minor bills in them in this budget that would provide some relief to schools that are struggling in a huge way, that would bump up adequacy aid just a little bit for the districts, and that would help to fund a commission to look for a solution, right? But he's already threatened to veto it, which is crazy. So there's tone deafness at the level of the governor around this piece. But I don't know how he thinks he'll get reelected if, in fact, he doesn't take this on, because the tax issue is not going to go away, and people are up to here now with this. So the tax structure is part of is a problem. That it funds education is a problem, and that we have not prioritized education in the state is also a problem in my mind. So that's part of that. I came from New Jersey. My property tax here is about the same as it was there. And I had a sales tax and I had an income tax. You know what? I managed. But I also had the ability to make more money there because there was more business. And it was an environment. It was a business culture environment where businesses paid their employees a living wage, right? You had opportunity to do well. So the whole system did well. Not perfect, but better. And lots of other states have figured out how to fund education outside of a property tax only kind of system. I believe that there is an answer to this. I'm always frustrated when people who are elected officials say, well, there's only so much revenue and, you can't pay, you got to decide what you're paying for and what you're not. And I get that. But what they're not, and I think it was Ivy who said, we need a new $5 bill, right? We need new revenue. We need a new stream of revenue. And as long as the people we've elected, and as we've talked about, they're the older, this older generation of legislators, as long as they are not willing to look at any kind of broad-based tax or any change to the tax system in the state, as long as they're not willing, we're stuck. So all the laws get made at the level of the legislature. So who are we electing? Who are we electing? That, I think, is the key. Who are we putting in office? Who's in the governorship? Who at the level of executive council? Who are we electing? Who's in our Senate and who's in the House? And I'll tell you, if you want change, then we've got to get progressive people who understand that what we've got does not work and that we need different thinking. I think what we really need, and people are going to go crazy, but what I think we really need is a constitutional convention. I think the problem is the structure of our government. So think about it. Everyone is elected for a 2-year term.
Right.
2 years. So you get elected, you get in, you barely know the job, right?
And you're up.
And then you're up for re-election. So there's all this churn, right? People in, people out, people in, and there's so little compensation for the work. So what's the value of that, right? what's the value? $100 a year, what's the value? Well, the way the government was structured back in the days of King George was that they wanted a government that was not going to allow for another king. That's what they've done. But this is not a 21st century government. It does not serve the world today. It doesn't serve our state today. So I believe that the real answer lies in a very hard process of getting to a constitutional convention and restructuring the government. That's what I think. Is that going to happen in my lifetime? I don't know. I don't know what the political will be, but what we have now doesn't work. It only allows for a certain population of people to serve. It doesn't allow them to serve long enough that they could actually do any real good or understand the issues. Everything is polarized party to party. So you've got all this political pressure still being brought to bear, despite good people understanding the issues and wanting to do the right thing, getting bills to a certain point and then hearing from their party leadership that they absolutely cannot vote for that bill. What is that? What have we done? Good sense is being overruled by party leadership. And for what? The people of the state are suffering. How long before they revolt? How long before they say no more? And I think that that's where we're getting to. And that's why things are amped up. It's because it's to a point where income is down, taxes are up, school costs are up, unfunded mandates are up, there's no relief coming from the government, and there's a deaf ear from the government. People are frustrated. That's what's happening. So that's the face of, that's the bigger picture of this. And I think we need more people, younger people, engaged in the political process who understand what the issues are. We need people to not just regurgitate sound bites, but to actually dig in and learn about the issues. So, Jefferson talked about an informed and engaged citizenry. Informed and engaged, right? So not just engaged, not just, I'm going to show up and be mad, but be informed. Do your homework. Read up. We're in the world of the internet. You can find everything you need to know about a topic and then some, on any topic. So you want to know what's going on with education funding and taxes? Google it, because there's tons of stuff out there, and anybody who wants to know can find out. So I think it's our responsibility, each of us, to be engaged, but to be informed, and to then also be willing to listen to each other.